Blood pressure, the silent killer. High blood pressure was a primary contributing cause of death for more than 1,000 Americans every day in 2014. With such an alarming statistic, you would think that more would be done to help people with this affliction. Well, I take that back. Actually, it has, but in the form of expensive and harmful medication that brings on a mountain of other health issues. Blood pressure measures how hard the blood is pushing against the walls of the arteries from your heart to the rest of your body. It is a huge determining factor for many illnesses. It's very important to get your blood pressure under control because the higher your blood pressure, the higher the risk of health problems in the future. This is because the higher your pressure, the more strain that's being placed on your arteries and your heart. Okay, with the medical stuff out the way, let's dive into some natural ways you can lower your blood pressure. Now, I've had high blood pressure for a handful of years. My lifestyle was without a doubt the contributor to it. This included being very inactive, weighing over 300 pounds, drinking alcohol heavily on a daily basis, eating poor foods, stress, anxiety, and not getting an adequate amount of sleep. My blood pressure hovered around 144/90 pretty much every time I went to the doctors. Then in October of 2017, reality struck. It all started with me simply doing light tasks, like walking around my house, and I would get severe shortness of breath. I was in denial it was something serious, so I kept writing it off as perhaps the change of season, seasonal allergies, etc. Now, I would never forget this because I was heading into the DMV to get my license renewed, but when I got there, the breathing issues intensified. Just simply walking from my vehicle to the DMV office, I thought I was going to pass out. You can even see it written all over my face on my driver's license photo taken on that day. That was a Thursday. I remember talking to my wife and we both were becoming very concerned that it was something serious. So the following day I went to the ER. At this point, the issue was much worse. The walk from my vehicle to the ER entrance almost made me pass out as well. Once we explained to the front desk nurse the symptoms, which my wife had to do because I couldn't talk due to the lack of oxygen, they put me on high priority over other patients and I was immediately sent to the back. My oxygen level was below 90, in which the average is 96 and above, and my blood pressure was around 180/100. After a handful of tests were ran, the diagnosis came back. I was suffering from a pulmonary embolism and pulmonary hypertension. In fact, I had several large blood clots in my lungs, one of which was pressing on the right side of my heart, causing it to swell. Now, you might be wondering, how am I still living today after all of that? Well, it's only by the grace of God and exceptional doctors at Temple University Hospital that conducted a procedure to destroy the clots close to my heart and to help reduce the others. Fast forward 2 years later, major changes were made to my lifestyle to not only dramatically reduce my risk of developing clots again, but to also significantly improve my overall health. I realized that with this health scare, getting my blood pressure in check was certainly at the top of my list of much needed improvements. I did the usual things such as exercise and try to get more sleep. However, the biggest change that dropped my blood pressure, dropped my weight, and improved my overall health was probably the most powerful diet today, which I'll get into in a moment. But first, let's talk about those 4 things that naturally lower my blood pressure, which just so happens to be in connection to the diet, or should I say lifestyle, that I'm still following today. First is intermittent fasting. By changing my eating window from the typical eat 3 meals a day, starting with breakfast first thing in the morning and ending with dinner and maybe a snack or dessert later in the evening, to eating once or twice a day and fasting for 16 to 20 hours made a huge difference. This is because when you give your digestive system a break, your body doesn't have to work as hard. This in turn lowers your blood pressure along with many other health benefits, such as autophagy, decreased blood sugar levels, and more. The second thing that helped my blood pressure was a big one, and that's taking electrolytes. I was always afraid of salt. In fact, for years, my family and I kept salt out of the house. Once I learned the truth about sodium and how vital it is for your overall health, I decided to try adding it back to my diet, and boy was I shocked. The dramatic turn in my health, how I felt throughout the day, and more, made me not only excited about the changes, but also pissed off with how we've been lied to about salt. Now, with that being said, salt is only effective and has those tremendous health benefits if you follow the last tip I'm going to mention, and also if you stick with the better types of salt, such as pink Himalayan salt and Celtic sea salt, to name a couple. Otherwise, the negative side effects of salt are bound to happen. The other electrolytes, magnesium and potassium, also made a major difference. I slept better, I no longer got annoying leg cramps, my brain functions increased, and a whole lot more. The third thing to help lower my blood pressure was not just exercise, it was staying very active throughout the entire day. This is extremely important. Everyone always hears about how you need to exercise at least a few times per week. But what doesn't get mentioned a lot is that even if you exercise multiple times a week, if you are not active the rest of the day, those workouts don't mean anything. You still can end up with severe health risks such as heart disease, blood clots, and more. I got one of those fitness watches, which is the Fitbit Blaze. I used it to keep track of many things, such as how many steps I did for the day, how active I was on each hour of the day, how well was my sleep, and a ton more. Trust me, if you don't have a health smartwatch, I strongly encourage you to invest in one. It'll make a massive difference in keeping you healthy and motivated. In fact, if you take a look at the description down below, I have a discount on the watch I have. Just simply click on that link and the discount is applied immediately. Alright, now on to the final step that not only helped me with my blood pressure, but majorly enhanced every other area of my life. And that will be pretty much cutting out sugar and decreasing my overall carb intake to just about 10 times less than a typical American standard diet. That's right, I average about 20 to 30 grams of net carbs, which is the amount of fiber minus the total carbs. By decreasing my carb intake, this put my body in a state of ketosis. This means the fuel my body runs off is no longer glucose, it's ketones. This has made a major impact on my life. I have more energy, my mood is way better, I don't crave bad foods any longer, I'm losing weight like crazy, and of course my blood pressure is picture perfect. In fact, my blood pressure now averages around 120 over 80, and my resting heart rate is around 58 to 60 beats per minute. As I mentioned earlier in regards to salt, decreasing your carb intake is what increases your need for salt to help replenish electrolytes. However, it's when you combine high carbs and salt together that problems such as high blood pressure, etc. are bound to happen. Now, if you look further into those 4 tips I mentioned, you would then realize that they are all connected to the highly popular keto diet. Intermittent fasting magnifies the keto diet further because when you are not eating for long periods of time, this increases ketone production. With electrolytes, because you are depleting glucose from your body, water goes along with it. This means you need electrolytes to keep hydrated on a keto diet. Staying active is always important no matter what you do, but you'll find that on a keto diet it is much easier to do because you have energy all day long. And lastly, well, I guess it would be a keto diet if you were eating lots of carbs like usual. By following these 4 tips, I improved my blood pressure and many other functions of my overall health, and you can too. If you need help structuring the perfect keto diet for you, I have a link down below you can follow that will guide you along the way to having tremendous success on the keto diet. This is something I wished I did in the beginning because believe me, the success I have today came with some very frustrating setbacks doing this type of diet. The keto diet must be done properly to avoid setbacks, such as the keto flu, stalled weight loss, and more. So check out that link down below so you can avoid the setbacks I and many others had. Well, I hope those tips and my story has inspired you. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to join the discussion down below in the comment section and I'll respond as soon as I can. I thank you so much for watching this video. Please give a like if you enjoyed and found this video helpful. And click the subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss out on any future content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.